This lunar eclipse in Pisces is definitely the highlight of September 2024, and it's going to kick off the second eclipse season for this year. And there are a lot of endings and restrictions and spiritual stuff that we can expect for this day. Hello, everyone. If you're new here, hi, I'm Harley. I'm a Filipina astrologer and tarot reader. And in this channel, we talk about everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if that's something that you are interested in or you want to see, maybe consider subscribing in my channel and click the notification button so you're updated on every videos that I put out. With that being out of the way, I want to talk about the upcoming lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces happening on September 18, Philippine time. I think it's going to be September 17 on the other side of the world. So if you're not located in the Philippines, you may want to adjust the time zone. So this is going to be the first eclipse on the second round of eclipses happening for the year of 2024. We already had one last March and April of 2024, and then we will be having the lunar eclipse on September 18 and then another eclipse on October. But this is what we call an out of sign eclipse because in reality, wala pa naman yung North Node and South Node natin, the energy points that are sort of representing the eclipses that will happen for the year in the sign of Pisces and Virgo. And it will move there next year. So this is like a peak period of what we can expect, what are the changes and the transformations and the beginnings and endings that will happen for 2025. So this is definitely a time for us to be a little bit observant or to take notes of what will happen a month before September 18. So baka nararamdaman na natin to. Or around 6 months of this particular eclipse. So again, pasilip to para sa atin on what we can expect. So this eclipse will happen on the 25th degree of Pisces. I'm going to put the chart here so you're familiar with how the day is going to look like. This is going to be the first eclipse in the sign of Pisces kasi up until 2026, I think there's going to be 3 eclipses in the sign of Pisces. So this is the first one. There is definitely a lot of activation in Piscean matters, which we're going to talk about later kapag pinag-usapan na natin yung details nitong lunar eclipse na to. So one of the key points whenever we talk about eclipses is to look at the previous eclipses that has happened on this sign. And last February 2017, we had a solar eclipse naman. So kabaliktaran ni lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. So around that time, wherever Pisces is located in your chart, there may have been canon events that catapulted you into brand new beginnings of like the Piscean matters in your chart. However, the eclipse happening this year is a lunar eclipse. So let's talk about what lunar eclipse is muna very quickly. We have 2 types of eclipses in astrology. We have lunar and then we have solar. The solar eclipse, it represents brand new massive beginnings. So this shows that there are a lot of new chapters opening up around the world and also for us personally. Meanwhile, lunar eclipse naman are massive endings that we can expect around our lives and also worldwide. So remember, solar are brand new massive beginnings, meanwhile lunar eclipses naman are massive endings or closing of a chapter or a cycle. But generally, so we feel the energy of the eclipses as I mentioned a month before or 6 months after. Pero hindi naman ibig sabihin nito na around the world or generally in the mundane astrology, maraming mangyayari for 6 months. No, it doesn't mean like that. In reality, 2 weeks or a month before the eclipse and then 2 weeks right after the eclipse, maraming activations na mangyayari around the world or in the general collective energy. And then personally for us, pwedeng magtagal siya up until 6 months. Now, after this lunar eclipse, we will have a solar eclipse in the sign of Libra where the North Node and the South Node are currently kasi in Libra and also Aries. So this is like a normal, not an out of sign eclipse technically. Pero yung 2-week period of those eclipses that will happen on September 18 and October 2 are really weird days, or there's like a very weird energy that we may feel. It's like an in-between period kasi. So think of the energy or like what you feel in the middle of Christmas and New Year. So it feels like that. So I don't know, I'm just letting you guys know. Baka parang hindi natin alam kung anong dapat natin gawin. So, ganun yung feeling niya. Now, even without this lunar eclipse, there are already a lot of things happening in the sign of Pisces. So, if you know anyone who has major Pisces placements, I have my moon in Pisces, so isa ako doon. There may be a lot of things that are activating in their lives currently. And in this particular time, Saturn and Neptune are also in the sign of Pisces. Saturn is a little bit far away from the moon around this day, but since the moon is going to be in the 25th degree of Pisces and then Neptune is a little bit closer to that, medyo mas mararamdaman natin yung Neptunian matters compared to Saturnian matters. But let's discuss what Saturn and Neptune represents because mararamdaman natin yung mga matters related to them around this eclipse season as well. So Saturn is restrictions, barriers, discipline, delayed gratifications, and also maturity. So these are the themes or the feelings that we may experience or may have around the day of the eclipse, or again, a month before, or even 6 months right after for us, or 2 weeks just to be safe. And in mundane astrology, Saturn represents law and order, and then restrictions and discipline. Meanwhile, Neptune is the planet of illusion, delusion, and dreams. That's why Neptune in mundane astrology represents spirituality, religion, entertainment, sometimes even this word, I'm not gonna say it kasi baka iban ako na YouTube. So together, Saturn and Neptune for this eclipse, it will bring out themes of spirituality, dream-like energies, and also restrictions and maturity will be relevant for this day. And then we have Pisces, the sign where this eclipse is happening. Pisces is a water sign, so a lot of water activations will really happen as well. On a worldwide scale, there's going to be a lot of matters related to ocean or the sea or straits or ponds or lakes that will come out of the news. Even transportations or travel related to water is going to be apparent on this day. Endings and revelations regarding agreements related to water transportation or trade is also something that we may hear about, or even unknown agreements or like societal illusion related to water stuff is going to come out as well. Since Neptune is activated, we're also going to hear a lot of news or activations on themes related to spirituality and religion. So look for exposés and endings related to religious or spiritual figureheads or like religious leaders, spiritual movements leaders. That's something that we can expect as well. Another thing is historically, eclipses are like marks of the rise and the fall of very important or prominent figures in our society. So this can be kings, queens, emperors, empresses, princesses, influential celebrities, or isama na rin natin ngayon yung influencers. Ang lakas ng ulan sa labas and also there's some construction going on outside. So I'm sorry if meron kayong naririnig na kung ano-ano, but please bear with me. Anyway, going back related to leaders. So there may be some leaders or we may see some leaders falling from grace or like certain exposés related to them. Or there's like a reaching of maturity moment for them that may happen as well. In America, actually, there's a lot of really important figures who have Pisces being activated in their charts this day. So I'm a little bit interested on what's going to happen around that time to them. In this time as well, there's a lot of activation that will happen around European countries or Western countries. So we may also hear about France, Canada, ganyan, that will also be activated during this eclipse. Financially, eclipses are also a mark of endings and beginnings in the financial market. So there may be some financial events related to water stuff or water trade, for example, that can also affect our financial systems or our financial ecosystem overall. Now, overall, personally, this may be a very weird, dreamy like day for us. So expect some very vivid and weird dreams around the night of September 18 and also a night before it or a night after. I suffer from a lot of nightmares, so I'm already expecting this day to be a little bit hard for me. So I'm definitely gonna sleep with my rose quartz and amethyst under my pillow para medyo kumalma naman yung mga panaginip ko. On the good side of things for every one of us, it's a very, very good day to do any spiritual practices or do any religious work. So if that's something that you're planning to do, September 18 may be really good. Now, let's talk about what we can expect in our personal lives based on our rising signs for this lunar eclipse in Pisces. So in case hindi nyo pa alam, whenever we do predictive readings in astrology, we don't look at the sun sign or the moon sign, we look at our rising sign o yung ascendant na tinatawag natin. So if you don't know your rising sign or your ascendant yet, go to astro.com, key in your birth details. Super important ng birth time. So pakisama siya. It's most of the time in our birth certificates, or ask your mother if they still remember. And then you will see the sign AC or ASC. I'm going to put a sample here and look for what sign it falls. And that's your rising sign or your ascendant sign. So the reason why we look at this when we do predictive readings, in case hindi nyo pa alam, is because it is the starting point of our chart or the helm of our chart. So it sets the pace of our whole chart. Let's start with our rising sign, starting from the Bida, the star of this eclipse, which is Pisces. So for Pisces risings, this is happening in your first house of yourself, your physicality, your attitude, your personality, and your view in life. Now, this is definitely a very pivotal moment for you, and I want you guys, all Pisces risings out there, to be observant or vigilant or of whatever event may happen around this time for you, or a month before September 18th, or a few months right after it. Because again, for next year, 2025, this is going to be a very big year for you as well. But going back, this is happening in your first house, so there may be some endings related to you personally, not around other people that you're surrounded with. So there is a possibility of you changing, let's just say, your physical appearance, your style. There may be some people changing their hairstyles, their way of dressing, or how you guys present yourselves in the world. And there's also possibility of massive endings happening all around your plans or your overall plans for your life. So para tong rebranding, a start of a rebranding for you, or a realization sa sarili mo that there's something or some sense of maturity happening within yourself. And at the same time, on this day, if you guys are very religious or spiritual people, I do recommend you focusing on your spiritual practices as well. Let's go to Aries rising. So for Aries risings, Pisces is located in your 12th house. So this is happening in your house of your mental health, the relationship that you have with your spirituality and religion, and also how you deal with hardships in life and isolation. So for you guys, there are definitely some endings happening around how you take care of your mental health. So to those who may be on medication, or if there's something that you do that you rely on in taking care of your mental health, may possibility that you may rethink it, or there's an ending that may happen around it, so that you can have time to sort of start something new around next year. And at the same time, there may also be an ending related to how you practice your spirituality or religion. So to some, this can be like a spiritual awakening, or like an ego death for them with regards to how you are connected with your faith. And there's also a possibility of like a little bit of a restricted solution that you may find related to a certain problem that you have, or a possibility of finding an ending related to an isolated period of your time. So I'm not gonna lie, this can be a little bit of a hard period for you, or a hard day, because it may be a very internal ending and hindi mo masyadong alam how you're going to tell it to the world. So take your time on understanding what's happening deep within you muna before you really think about how you're going to say it to other people or announce it to other people. A very good time to be private. Now let's go to Taurus risings. For Taurus risings people, this is happening in your 11th house of your social circles, your acquaintances, your network, membership, and affiliations, and also your goals, manifestations, dreams, prayers, kung ano man tawag mo dyan, technically what you want in life. So there may be an ending related to your social life. I don't know if you want to hear that, but there is definitely an ending happening there. So if, for example, you have responsibilities that are related to certain affiliations or memberships, may possibility na you may step down or you may bow down and give it to another person. To some who are a little bit social, there's a possibility of like friendship over FO type of thing that may happen. But think about certain realization that you have or like a practical awakening for you related to your acquaintances kaya siya mangyayari. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, may possibility na the ending may happen around your manifestations, your goals, your dreams, your prayers. Now, I'm already putting it out there. This is not a great day to manifest. Please do not manifest during an eclipse. But may possibility na there is going to be a realization for you that there are certain manifestations or goals or achievements that you wanted for a long time that doesn't necessarily align with you anymore and where you are going in your life right now. You may let go of it, you may rethink about it, or magkakaroon ng event wherein you're gonna realize that I am maturing and this is not aligned with who I am now. Let's go to Gemini risings. This is happening in your 10th house of your career and also your public image. So there can be an ending related to those matters. I'm not saying that this is an end of a job. Okay, wag kayong kabahan. However, I'm not gonna lie. There may be, for example, an ending related to your career, to your industry, the company that you're working for, or even an ending related to the person that you are working for. So this can be your bosses, your supervisors, your manager, for example. Now remember, na the reason why this will end for you is because there's definitely a brand new beginning waiting for you for next year. So hindi naman to toxic positivity, but I want you guys to sort of prepare for the unexpected related to your career. Kasi may possibility na in reality, hindi naman talaga siya mangyayari sa'yo, but you are affected by it. Now, another thing that you may expect is if you do something publicly and you are a Gemini rising, there may be an ending of like a public affair or a public project that you do because you may be reaching maturity in your career or overall what you want to do publicly and you're realizing that it doesn't align with you anymore. And then let's go with Cancer rising. So for Cancer risings, this is happening in your 9th house of everything foreign. So foreign people, foreign culture, immigration, and also your higher education, your higher knowledge, and also your higher wisdom. So there is definitely an ending happening around foreign matters for you. If you have plans to travel abroad, be it for leisure or for work, may possibility of an ending of an itinerary or a plan. It doesn't necessarily mean naman na hindi na siya mangyayari. To some, however, there may be some restrictions happening in your plans of migrating or how you're connecting with foreign people. Or there may be something of like a spiritual awakening related to traveling abroad or like your relationship with other foreign people as well. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's definitely going to happen to some. Now, together with that, if you're still in school, meaning higher education toha, so this is college or advanced education like masteral, PhD, there may also be some endings happening right around those themes. So it doesn't mean naman na makikick out ka sa school. Definitely, there's going to be like an ending of a project, an ending of a relationship related to your schoolmates, for example, or maybe to some, you guys may be changing your courses or your majors, for example, or ending of a project, or maybe there's a new teacher coming in. So those are the things that you can expect as well. Now, for Leo risings, this is happening in your 8th house of your shared and complicated finances. So there's definitely an ending that you're going to feel related to your investments, assets, inheritance is also included in there. To some, this can be like an ending of a debt or an utang in Tagalog. This is definitely not the best day to do big financial movements because there is going to be an ending first that needs to happen before you put something into it. So it's definitely not suggested to like make really big purchases related to your investments. But I am not a financial girly, so this is not a financial advice or a professional financial advice. So take this with a grain of salt. This is just based on astrology. Now let's talk about Virgo risings. For Virgo risings, this is happening in your 7th house of your personal and committed relationships. So these are the themes around your marriage, your long-term relationship, your best friends, or any important partnerships that you have in your life. So there is going to be an ending surrounding those relationships that you have. To some, I'm not gonna lie, this can be an ending of a long-term relationship for you, or to some, this can be an ending of a chapter of your marriage or your relationship to go and mature to the next level. Now, to some, may possibility pa nga na hindi naman talaga directly mangyayari sa inyo yung ending, and it's going to happen around the people that you are connected with. So, for example, there may be an ending happening around your wives, your husbands, or ending happening around your best friends, and you are affected. Mamaya pala ang may breakup is yung best friend mo, tapos kailangan mo siyang tulungan, so it's going to affect you. Or maybe this is going to be an ending of a partnership that doesn't work anymore, or there's a misalignment on discipline, and maturity, and also definitely some religious aspects into there as well. Now, for Libra risings, this is happening also in your sixth house of your physical health, your coworkers, your working routine, your everyday service. So there's going to be two possibilities here. The first one, there may be some ending happening around your physical health matters. So this can be an ending of a medication, an ending of a lifestyle, an ending of a diet that you may need to undergo kasi nare-realize mo that you're already reaching maturity in that particular lifestyle that you have. This is not in no way a professional medical advice. So take this with a grain of salt. I'm not saying na kailangan nyo nang tapusin yung medication nyo. I'm just saying that there is a possibility of it. Now, to some who work in the professional area, so may possibility that the ending may happen around your everyday service and work, or even around your coworkers as well. So there may be an ending of a project, ending of like a contract that you have with a certain department, so baka lumipat ka ng department, or there may be an ending on how you do routinary work, and then there's going to be some changes on how you do it moving forward. So for example, if you're used to work from home, baka biglang magpatawag na, okay, back to office na kayo. So stuff like that may happen. Or there's also a possibility that the ending may happen around your coworkers and then you are affected. So for example, there may be a coworker who may get terminated or suspended, and then kailangan mong salahin yung work niya. And now let's go to Scorpio rising. So for Scorpio risings, this is happening in your fifth house of your pleasure, your enjoyment. So kasama dyan yung romance, dating, and everything that you enjoy, the hobbies that you have. And then this is also the house of your creativity, creation, and your children kasi kasama sila sa creation mo. So to some, this can be an ending of like a fling or a certain romantic endeavor that you have. I'm not gonna lie, particularly because there may be some certain maturation that will happen. It may come from you, or pwedeng mangyari siya sa dinedate mo. To some, this can be an ending of like a thing that you used to enjoy, because again, there may be some spiritual awakenings or like maturity or restrictions that are happening around it, and then you decide to sort of let it go or rethink how you're going to approach it. There is also a possibility of ending of like a creative project that you have, if you have that. Or if you are a parent, there may be an ending happening around your kids that was affected ka by default because of course you are the parent of the kid. Or maybe you have an arrangement with your kids that's definitely going to be ending around this time kasi baka nagmamature na din sila. And then for my fellow Sagittarius risings, this is happening in our fourth house of our home, family, our living situation. So this can be a little bit hard because there may definitely be an ending related to our family or our family dynamics. So to some, this can be an ending particularly related to our family members. So this can be, for example, one of your siblings or baka parents mo mawawala ng work and then you are affected. Or maybe there is like a heartbreak that may happen around the people that you live together in your family dynamics. So you may have to deal with that. Sa iba naman, may possibility that the ending may happen around your living situation or around your physical home. So for example, there can be an ending of a lease or an ending of a contract, tas kailangan mo na maghanap ng bahay together with your family. Or maybe you're finishing a certain renovation or construction around your home and you're already seeing what's going to be the next project. This is definitely not going to be an easy day for you kasi the fourth house is also the house of your comfortability. So you may be a little bit itchy. I don't know if that's the right word, but there may be a little bit of uncomfortability that may happen around the eclipse. So it's really a good time for you to be a little bit private, or do not do a lot of like socializing, or do not be in conflict with your family members if you can, as much as possible. Try to think it through on how you're going to approach family members around this time. And then for Capricorn risings, this is happening in your third house of communication, your mentality, your siblings, your neighborhood, and your community, your everyday routine, your productivity, and also everything local. Ang daming nire-rule ng third house. So if you work in the communicative industry, may possibility of an ending of a project or ending of an agreement related to your communicative projects. Or if you're a writer, if you're a speaker, for example, this doesn't mean naman na mawawalan ka ng trabaho. Again, this can be a cultivation period, ganyan, related to your projects instead. Now, there's also a possibility to some of like an ending of how you guys communicate to other people. So this can also be related to like content creation. Baka mag-iba na on how you communicate yourself to the world. Or this can also be like ending of a way of how you try to write down certain ideas that you have in your head. Now, to some, this can be a possibility of ending related to your siblings and then you are affected. So, for example, maybe one of your siblings may be ending their relationships and then you are affected by it and you have to sort of help them on how they're going to cope up with it. May possibility then that the ending may happen around your neighborhood and you are affected as well. So, may iba dyan na baka lumipat ng neighborhood because there are some endings or like changes happening around your community and your neighborhood. So, baka mag-iba kayo ng bahay or again, ending of a lease can also be a possibility of that. There's also a possibility to some of letting go of certain everyday habits or the things that you do that used to be productive but not anymore. And then lastly, we have Aquarius risings. For you guys, this is happening in your second house of your personal finances, your source of income, and your spending. So there is a possibility of ending of like a certain source of income. So I'm not gonna lie, this can mean to some people na baka mawalan ka ng trabaho, mawalan ka ng racket, for example, or maybe you personally decide to let it go because you cannot take it anymore, or it doesn't align with the maturity that is happening on how you handle your personal finances. Because again, we have Saturn there, which is the lead gratifications and discipline and maturity. So it may come from that idea. Now, to some naman, if you guys have certain sources of income that are based on spirituality or religion, may possibility then na mag-end siya or you may rethink how you're gonna approach it moving forward. Now, to some, this can be an ending related to a certain spending that you did. So, congrats sa iba, baka matapos yung mga bayarin ninyo or you're finally gonna find a solution that is a little bit restrictive, yes, but may help you end a certain spending habit or like a thing that you spend on related to your personal finances para mas mag-improve siya. So that's it. This is everything that you need to know related to the upcoming lunar eclipse in Pisces. Let me know, guys, what house this is happening for you. What do you think is going to happen? Maybe I can help you out on understanding as well. If you guys have any planets or placements in Pisces, let me know in the comments so I can help you figure it out. Again, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Do not forget, please, to subscribe or like this video because it's definitely going to help me a lot. Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye-bye!